Well, hello, good afternoon, hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Chair, back in the show this evening. There's a one and only Albert and our AK. Evening, gentlemen. Evening, Albert.
Evening, Yorkshire. Evening, Alec. How are you two doing?
Evening, AK.
Evening, Albert. Evening, boys.
There's the AK-57.
Was that?
Nothing.
Good evening, guys. Good evening.
How are you, Albert, mate? The technical wizard?
I'm technical wizard, still having problems, but yes, I'm fine. I'm healthy and ready to go. Boots laced up, ready to go.
I'm doing fine, pal. Doing fine. Looking forward to tonight's show.
Good on you. Right, we'll look back, get your two thoughts on the game Saturday. Don't go into too much depth with Albert. Me and him are on after the show. It'll be interesting how your take on it, AK. We'll avoid the biggest story, the biggest scandal ever, and maybe potentially moral sport. Not a separate entity anymore. Funny that, but then we go. We'll leave that one alone. But we might start building up to a big night at Ibrox, a big European time, and a big night for the team and the manager. So, AK, give us your thoughts on the weekend.
The weekend's performance, it wasn't brilliant, to be honest with you, but it's about result now, isn't it? Difficult game on paper, particularly in the mindset the players were and the supporters, but we've got to pick ourselves up and get on with it. There's no point in feeling sorry for ourselves, but I thought the performance wasn't great, but we got the win in a difficult place where we have found it difficult before, but win's a win, and we're all on to the next game.
Is that performance over-exaggerated, Albert, because of the previous game? Is that what happens? If we'd have won the previous game, we'd have went there, away performance, done the road 3 points, everybody happy. Is that part of the reasons why it's looked at so... Well, we didn't play well, but we've done that before in the past, and we don't bat an eyelid.
90% of the reason, mate. It's absolutely 90% of the reason. Is if we'd have won against that, well, we're sitting top of the league into the international break in a big high, go up there, get the 3 points, then we're rolling now. We're starting to roll. We've got the momentum going now. It's about winning the league. You win the league. You don't win the league playing nice football all the time. You win the league playing most games ugly by getting the 3 points. So now we're super critical because we didn't win that game because we're sitting 4 points behind, where we shouldn't really be sitting 4 points behind. There's no reason for us to be sitting 4 points behind, but we are. So that's 90%. Get the results. It's always about results. Nothing else matters. It's just results. You do that, you have a happy time. You don't do that, you have a time that we just went through there.
What's your take on it, AK?
Well, I definitely think that's a factor. There's no doubt about that. I think the mindset of the supporters was very down, as we've all spoke about in previous shows. That 2 week break, I don't think was a great thing for the players or the support. So I think that was also a factor, and we expected better performance out of him because he said that, well, it gives me 2 weeks to work with the players that isn't going in international duty. And most of the guys that he picked to start the team probably wasn't on international duty. And I think that's a wee bit of a kind of downer feeling the support. And, you know, is why we thought we could have played better. But see, at the end of the day, Albert's right. It's all about result. We go the 3 points, scored 2 goals, clean sheet, and we come back down the road. And let's hope we're back on the horse again.
Mm-hmm. I think I agree. I think he's a bit right there when you talk about how it's magnified. You know, we overreact when we have a great result and overreact when we have a poor result, Albert.
That's exactly right, mate. That's just the way football is, isn't it?
Aye.
But at the end of the day, it's frustration built up over all the years, and it just all come out after that result because just fed up watching it. Just fed up with it. You can't get results in important games. It's so sad. It's a thing that we'd pride ourselves always getting the targeting the big games and getting the results. No anymore, we seem to lose every single one we get to. And that was the frustration. But we should say, if we'd have won it, Saturday's game would have been, we didn't play well, but it's a great result, getting 3 points. And then we'd have really went to town on the wee bits, a good play that we did do, and the 2 good goals we did score. It'd have been, that's brilliant, that's great, blah, 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 build it up. But you've got to get a foundation to do that. You've got to get you've got to win the first game against them. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's always been like this. It's not something new. It's always been like this.
No, I don't think it's changed. I think maybe the social media and really there's lunatics there, a radio show every night and talk about the Rangers, just the Rangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that never used to happen. But I don't think the feelings and the emotions have changed, AK. It's just maybe highlighted more by the modern world.
I think you're right there with your point regarding the social media. The days going past, used to be sitting in the pub, round the table with your mates discussing the kind of rights and wrongs of the team that were picked, but now everybody's got an opinion and they throw it out onto social media. So I think that is a factor with a lot of people's kind of mindset. But it's all Bear says there. It's just the way of the world now. It's just because it's that early in the season and it's another big game where we could have took advantage of it, but we've just got to go on with it. There's no point in feeling sorry about ourselves, there's nothing's been decided yet, so we've got to try and remain that wee bit of positivity for the rest of the season, but we've made it difficult for ourselves.
Aye, listen, we played worse against them and won. I think that's fact, Albert, yeah. But ultimately, you can get in. We played a lot better and get beat. But frustrations are. I think the support, and this is my take on it. I think the frustrations come from not playing a brand of football we like. We don't see us making enough chances. We don't see other goalkeepers getting worked, and we feel as if we're not as secure at the back as we should be. And I'll give you my thoughts. I think we're too narrow, and the midfield are given too much today, too much ground to cover because of the way we play. So it's impossible today, but I think some of the things he's asking. But that's only my take on it. People will see it differently. I mean, I was speaking to somebody today saying, I can see the tactics. He's trying to invite some teams onto us, and then we catch them on the break. Well, that's all right for some of the games we play, but not for the majority. Albert.
It's that. I mean, I heard that guy in one of the podcasts saying it. I mean, I'm not a tactician. I don't really truly understand the tactics and all that. But what he was saying made perfect sense to me. It gave me an idea what Beale is trying to do. That he's playing the two defensive midfielders next to the back four. So he's trying to stretch the length of the park, not the width of the park, the length of the park, to invite teams on. So he gives the 3 number 10s and he's centre forward room to play. I mean, well, it makes sense. That when you say it out loud, it makes sense. The actual putting into practice, well, I don't see it that happening. I mean, I don't know what we're doing. But what I did, you just said there, it's the 2 midfielders. They've got a hell of a lot of work to, a hell of a lot of grunt to cover. Because what I say against Juventus, against even St Johnstone at times, even against Ross County and them, we don't fill the park up. PSV showed it, they exploited it to the limit. We don't seem to fill the park up. And this is this Nara nonsense. We'll get big, huge gaps all over the place. But that's his tactics. He's going to live and die with his tactics because the wee guy next to him is at Bamfield. He worked with Arsene Wenger. And the guy says to him, "Have you learnt off Arsene Wenger?" And he went, "Never change your mind. Carry on with your system." And I think I'm shouting at the screen, but he get his books. Wenger get his books. I mean, but anyway. So this is I think he's whispering into Beale's ear. We need to keep going with this. We need to keep going with this to get it to work. But you'll find out when you're sitting with your P45 on the brew going, well, that didn't really work. We should have changed that. Anyway, it is what it is, mate. It is what it is.
I've got a view that the people don't care. I mean, that's in the modern world. But is your take on it, AK?
I was just listening to Old Bear there a minute. I hadn't seen that podcast you're on about, but there's one major flaw in that tactic though, pal. if the opposition aren't interested in coming on to you, then the two are just looking at each other and nobody's doing anything. And that's what it looks like most of the game, though.
Well, it's like chess and nobody makes a move.
Aye, nobody's taking a move. Aye.
I nobody moves the first pawn.
I know.
It's surprising the ball even comes out the centre circle. Two teams sitting looking at the ball in the centre circle. I'm not kicking it. You kick it.
I'll give you my take on it, though. I think that see when we're kind of forced to make these kind of changes, where he's like, say, for instance, there when Lammers come off the park and we put Lawrence in his natural position, everybody seemed to push 20, 30 yards up the park, and then we looked like a proper team, and we were starting to impose ourselves on St Johnstone, the way we should be doing for the first whistle. But it just looks as if Beale's got shackles and all his team, they're all meant to do certain jobs and don't go to that tactic, don't go to your position. And the guys are just petrified to actually just go there and play football. That's just how it looks to me. Cantwell and the Old Firm gang is doing it right back covering Tavernier's area. What is he doing down there when he was our best player last year? You know, it's just examples like that just look the team disjointed to where we think it should be.
I'm not saying he's putting square pegs in round holes, but he could be putting oblong pegs in round holes, if that makes sense, Albert.
Closer to the shape.
Aye.
No, the actual shape, but closer to it. But his tactics is his tactics. I don't know. But Lawrence proved that where he get moved to once Lammers went off, that's his position. I think that's actually Cantwell's position as well. Whether they two can play together would remain to be seen. But he definitely come onto a game. Boy, I think what happened, Alec, is it wasn't so much that he let them off the leash. We were moving the ball faster. And we're asking beat a guy, pushed it onto Lawrence. Lawrence didn't even take a touch and pushed it through, and we Matondo ran onto it. I mean, it's just normal football, and for every other team bar ours, that's just the way you do it. But we don't do enough of it, and that's the problem. That's the big problem we've got. If we start moving the ball quicker, one-touch football, but forward passing one-touch football, no this one-touch football to the side or to the back, or putting the back the way. I don't know. What's the answer? What's the solution? Where do we go? Not a clue, mate.
That's a good question, mate. That's a good question. We've scored some lovely goals this season. I mean, you take the two against PSV and you take the two against St Johnstone. But there's some of the moves, the team goals, different players involved. Have been excellent moves, AK. You know, Seamer's strike against PSV, you know, ultimately it wasn't great, you know. But however, there's been some, even if you think back to the PSV game, and you know how sore it was that night, the goal we scored, to be flicked for Cantwell, you forget about it because of the way the game panned out, and we lost a goal. We lost a goal and we were still celebrating.
I know.
You know?
You think of Dowell's strike against Livingston as well? That was a belter.
No, but however, we're not seeing enough of it often enough, yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
When it comes to goals, we're doing quality over quantity. It's quantity we need, no quality.
All right, AK?
Well, when you've got majority, 70 plus possession of the ball, you should be expecting to work their goalkeeper a lot more than what we're doing, and we're not doing that. Beale can go on about with the most shots in the league and all that. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but that just makes, when I'm hearing that just makes him look a wee bit silly, you know. At the end of the day, we're 4 points behind. We're sitting fourth in the table after 5 games. Don't come away with stuff. See that XG nonsense that they're all starting to come. Just don't come away with that stuff, you know.
That's like golf, Albert. That's like golf, isn't it? We get these shots.
Definitely golf. Give it up. That's another thing. Another sport I've gave up.
And I think my dancing days are over, Albert.
Aye, well, you need to be sitting next to me, mate. Mine was over years ago. I've got a wee seat waiting for you.
I don't know about that. You never know. Yeah, good point, AK. You know, and well, there's not been a game we've played when we've said the other team's goalie was, he'd won one of the games, is he? We've not had that. You know, we've all went to watch games of football, and you walk out and you go, how did that happen? How did they've kicked 4 off the line? We've had to win, 3 times their goalie dived, hit his knee, went over the bar twice. You think to yourself, how? In another day, that would have been. In fact, it happened at the weekend. I don't know if you've seen it. West Ham get beat 3-1, and I happened to watch the highlights. That Haaland could have scored 6, Albert. Yeah, 6. And he was struggling to get 1. You know, there's days like it in football. We've not had that. But the other goalie saved it brilliantly, and he's knocked it round the post. Guys have kicked off the line. No, I think that's the point that AK is making. Before we touch on the defence, I think, and I've said it for a while now, you score more goals, it becomes easier for your defence.
Absolutely, mate. It's the trouble I've got with it all as well. Before you go into their defence is this shots. We took 21 shots and we've created 12 chances and all that. I mean, what's the interpretation of a chance? What is that? What do you understand a chance to be? My idea is we'll take the seamer when he gets the byline. He takes a shot and he balloons it out of the bar. That's not a chance to me. That's not creating a chance or try to take a chance. And it's not even a shot because it's ballooned out of the bar. It's not a shot. That's what I think. A chance to me is he gets to the byline, he cuts it back to Roof, and Roof puts it in the net, or he doesn't put it in the net. That's creating a chance. Roof puts it in the net. It's a goal, obviously.
The other one's a situation, yeah.
Aye. So if you take the shot on to that situation at the byline, you take the shot on, you've got to hit the target. If you hit the target, that becomes a shot. If you don't hit the target, it's a miss. It's nothing.
Wrong decision.
Aye, wrong decision. Or if you cut it back, that's a chance. So you only get it 2 ways. You take the shot on and you balloon it. It's nothing. It's a wrong decision. Or you cut it back and the guy you cut it back to puts it in the net, goal. If he misses it, that is a chance missed. But all of a sudden, if you get anywhere near the goal, it seems to be the market doing, oh, that's a chance. And I'm going, was that a chance, really? Or that's a shot? You're going, what? 21 shots? I'm going, I didn't see 21. Maybe I'm asleep, but I don't see 21 shots. But it's your interpretation of what a shot is. Just hit it towards the goal and that's a shot. What do you mean? It's no. That's just easy count. That's silly. But again, talking about, you can make these things say anything, can't you? Really, honestly.
For us, 21 shots at goal was the goal was saved 21 times, AK, innit? Or the defender deflecting it past the goal, yeah?
Aye. It's pretty much working the goalkeeper, or at least getting near the goal frame, no ballooning it into the stand, as Albert's saying there. But see, at the end of the day, it's game management and it's player responsibility as well, willing to take that shot, you know, when he sees the opportunity to. We're still not taking it. I'm hoping the introduction of Lawrence coming back into the team, he was good at that last year, you know, seizing that opportunity to work the keeper, because he's got to score a screamer or a goal, or he's going to work the keeper to get a corner or a spill or something like that, you know. We need to start taking more shots at goal and be on target with them. Don't just balloon them into the stand the way that we've been prone today. The Danilo one's a wee bit of a sore one, obviously, for him, but that's some record. He's getting to the roof stage, scoring 2 goals, two starts, and now he's out injured. How unlucky is the man being there?
Aye. I mean, that was a ton of bad luck, you know. I don't think it was. I think it was just one of the things. I've watched it back. I don't even think the boy was late. I just think it was a classic defender moving forward, moves a split second earlier, catches him, but bad luck for the boy. It was a good finish, and you know, and hopefully he comes back quickly and fit, and everything's okay. The only positive thing I will say is once he gets okay, he can still work on his fitness all better, yeah?
Oh, aye, definitely. But it might be even worse coming back his fitness, because I don't think you're allowed to train with that sort of injury.
It depends what advice you get, you know what I mean? You can't, it's not as if you're lying with your leg up and just getting a rub down in it. You'll still be able to jog, or you'll be able to do whatever, yeah?
Aye, well, I hope so. so he does keep his fitness up, because you're no wanting to start from scratch again. But, it's a shame. It really is a shame.
When you watched the back, it was unlucky, wasn't he? He scored a good goal and then gets that made.
I thought at the beginning it was about the defender, so it's excess force in it. But when you look at back, it's one of the ones. I don't think a defender truly thought he was going to get that ball. He just stuck his head in the way, and Danilo headed the ball, then headed him. You're sitting saying, is it dangerous play? Nah, I heard GB and them saying last night, no, they don't think it was, and don't think it was a red card. And then they thought the penalty, Lawrence was a penalty, and I'm screaming at the radio last or the iPad last night. But players lining all us, but his face hanging open.
I know.
We'll not give him a red card, but we'll give him a penalty instead
for
something that wasn't.
For tickling somebody, I get it.
Yeah, you know
I think the point the boys were trying to make last night is with VAR, it's changed how you defend, Becky. Yeah?
Aye. I saw this two-phase stuff in that, and the game carries on, but how unlucky's Roof as well, you know.
Two-phase, we'll get an electrician in.
I thought Seema done brilliant to, win the ball the way he did, drive into the box and then cut it back and fund Roof for a tap, and I thought it was a great intuition for Seema to find that ball and to fight for the ball in the first place, and then
what are you talking about? We're talking about the goal.
I know, but you were on about VAR as well.
With Lawrence, yeah.
Aye, with the keeper.
Sorry, you lost me.
No. I'm talking about VAR as well, but I'm talking about VAR with the Roof goal with Seema. No, I was just saying I thought it was a great play with Seema. But on that one with Lawrence and the keeper, I don't know. I couldn't really tell for sure. But certainly I wasn't screaming for a penalty for St Johnstone, that's for sure.
No. I thought the boy took a dive. The St Johnstone boy for the one way. Big Butland. But what I will say is, it was the only thing he done wrong. Ben Davies during the whole match, I think he was a bit half a yard short with a back pass all there. Put the goal under a bit of pressure.
He was not a bad game. He gave him his due. He was no better, no worse than anybody else on the park. You know what I mean? So, from that point of view, he was all right. And that back pass, well, that's just nerves, isn't it? He's still a bag of nerves at times. He needs to overcome that. I think he's still got that mistake at Park. He's still on his makeup. He needs to get that out of his head and just go on with his game, because I think he's not a bad player, the boy. Honestly, I think he's not a bad player. But he'll need to reset his cell and go again. You know what I mean? Totally reset his cell and go again. But it's better. I must admit, it looked better balanced. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but the defence looked better balanced to me.
That's the offence, the big shooter, AK, yeah. But if you've got a left-sided players playing the left, it does give you a better balance.
It does. Aye, I'll grant him that. But Davies, he seems to play well against that sort of team. For me, the likes of the bottom half team, he always looks comfortable. It's when he's up against a kind of physical challenge or a faster forward, or that's when he can come unstuck. In the big games that we have to win. Like say, if Beale sticks round for Thursday, it'll be interesting to see how he plays there. If he comes through that with flying colours, I hope he does, then fine. I'll give him credit for that. But no one we're playing a bottom of the table team. For me, I think Souttar should still be in there. And if we want that balance, then it's about time they started leaving Golson out of the team then for me. And that's just me.
I think the trouble is that for some reason he's a tick in the box. Yeah.
Money, mate. Money, aye. It's just what we're paying him. Now it is anyway, because we'll put them on that tab on the big contract, so you can't have them sitting in the stand, I suppose, when they sort of own that sort of money. But there's times when he definitely should have been dropped. Both of them should have been dropped at times when they've not been playing well. But Tavernier still gives you stuff. You know what I mean? He contributes forward. And Golson can play well in spells and games. He can. But the new, who would I play? If I had the choice, who would I play? I'd play Soot at the right side. But that means you're going to play Davis at left side. I don't think they two form a particularly solid partnership. But I think Davis plays better with Golson. I know that stat's kicking about. No, I never knew anything about that stat. But they play better together.
I'd be interested to dissect the 18 league games, because they all played in the cup game. We lost the semi-final in the cup last year. But interesting. Right, we better get these phone lines open. People don't want to listen to us all night, do they?
No. I wouldn't imagine so.
Without it.
Yeah, bring in the troops.
You're saying if we don't bring them in, that's troops out?
No doubt.
Are you reading your tattoos again? Right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, okay. Right, it's gone. Saturday's gone. 3 points. Clean sheet, 2-0. 2 great goals. Lawrence gets minutes under his leg. So does Ben Davis. So does Ridvan. Let's be honest about it. They've not played a lot, the three of them. So does Kemar Roof. So as far as the squad and minutes are concerned, there's a lot of tick boxes for Saturday, Albert.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We've got to go that way. We've slaughtered it enough. How bad we were, blah blah blah. We've got to pick positives out of this going forward, not just for the night, for the rest of the season. We'll need to start trying to get the positives out of most of these games. As long as we keep winning, mate, I'm happy. I will calm right down as long as we keep on winning. And I mean all the games.
I don't believe that.
Oh, by the way, maybe we're talking about professional fouls.
Yes.
And after the game, I've come up with an idea. See if you like this one.
Okay.
Rather than remember I said.
Wait a minute. Wait to get some popcorn. I'll be right back.
It's not that long. I'm not going to.
Right, okay, sorry.
Remember I said they should have a card between yellow and red.
I proposed an orange card myself, yes.
Aye, I would like an orange card. There's nothing wrong with an orange card. but I've read a rethink now. It should be the team. The team should suffer for professional fouls. So each team gets a minimum of 3 professional fouls, and they get the bookings for them. But the 4th one is an automatic red card for the team. I
think that's got legs. What about you have an orange card and you get 10 minutes in the sin bin, so you go down to 10 men. And if you have your 3rd one, somebody has to stay off. Yep. And the opposition get to pick what player goes off.
Here we go. We're getting more and more complicated for this one.
It's a knockout I've phoned in the night.
Aye, I know. That's what's going to end up, isn't it? Players playing with wigs and all that one in disguise. Who's that?
Oh, brilliant.
Just think the opposition when they never sent you off, Albert.
I know you know you're a daddy then when the opposition keep you on.
Back to the school team.
But you see what I'm saying? You certainly caught the professional fouls out because they're killing the game at the moment. There's too many of them. There's just too many of them.
Ox.
Oh dear. Yes, mate. What have you made that up?
Listen, on a more serious note, touching the guys done well to touch on it last night. Go and tell me about Ronnie McKinnon. My dad will speak about him. It's his era. God rest him. Go and tell us about what sort of player he was for the club and what kind of memory he holds for you guys.
For me, I've never seen Ronnie McKinnon play.
Well, tell the one your granddad tell you then.
He grew up with my father-in-law, so actually Yeah, I've met Ronnie McKinnon, yeah. And what a gentleman. And I've met him at some Rangers functions, and he's well thought of. Also came across in my younger days his brother Donny, who was with Partick Thistle for years. Yeah. So the memories I've got of Ronnie McKinnon is the famous picture with him with Pelly. I think that was 1971 over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, when people rhyme off the team, what's the team they rhyme off, Albert?
Oh no, don't date me. I can't get that.
Come on, Richie, Shearer, Caldo.
No, I never
Come
get
on,
it right.
Come on. Richie, Shearer, Caldo, Greg, McKinnon, Baxter.
Mike Wilson, isn't it? McMillan, Brand, something. I can never get it.
Right, we'll come back to that one.
I can never get it. I never remember it.
Anyway, we'll be joined by William. Evening, William.
Evening, brothers. I thought I'd get in early tonight in case all the Roundtree Macintosh comes on. Try and save his well Roundtree Macintosh.
Davy. Oh, Davy.
Aye.
We like old Davy. We don't like you.
Aye.
Carry on.
Saturday's game. You're talking about Saturday's game.
Yes, give us for a referee point of view, Roy. What was your thoughts on
Well, Christ almighty. I think VAR's, it's getting to the point VAR's sanitised the game. You hardly see a tackle now. And it seems to be all the yellow cards are there for time wasting or tugging somebody's jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that the puddle drinkers game on Saturday, not one single yellow card for anybody. And if you notice, since Bristol Boy went down to Spurs, seeing his last 3 games, I think I'm right in saying he's had 15 yellow cards in his last 3 games, his team. What a difference.
It tells you what you want to know, doesn't it?
Aye, that's exactly right, old bear, that's exactly right. You got away with murder up here. Ross saying how he's that wonderful. What's he say he gets on down there because he can run out of players soon? Because I think his last 3 games, he had 6 there at the weekend. I think before that he had 5 and before that he had 4. And I don't know about the games before that, I've not checked that. I'm sure that's how many he's had, so it just shows you his dirty tactics are he's not getting away with them down there.
It was plenty in what his thing was. I'll put it to you this way: you defend for the front and you make sure that different people do fouls. That's not reinventing the game. You must have refereed games when people were cute enough to do that. No, that
but the referee should be doing that right away. You've got to stamp on that right away. See the dirty tricks we're doing. We get a free kick and Kyogo stood right on it. Christopher's getting a quick free kick, stuff like that. I'd just put him out and say, right, I see what you're doing. If you do it again, you're getting a card. That's it. Get back 10 years now. Or you go in the book, and then you go in the house. Again. That's what I do with him.
Is that McGregor? I can't get how many professional fouls that boy gets away with every game. It's unbelievable.
Aye. He came out disappointed me in the Old Firm game. I thought he'd have put Lundstrom on, and I'd have put Lundstrom on, and I said, every time he gets the ball, you get on him and hammer him, and then he'll no want to get the ball. But what he did is he's put Ryan Jack in the midfield as opposed to Lundstrom. Ryan Jack 5 days before a Scotland game, he's not going to go in and tackle his wee Scotland pal, whereas Lundstrom would have went in and hammered him. That was a big mistake for me in the Old Firm game, and when he picked the team, I'd definitely had Lundstrom in there, kick lumps out of that to McGregor every time he gets the ball. You know, no kick lumps out of him, but good hard tackle. Get a good hard tackle in. Because he didn't get tackled, did he?
You've got to be fair on Ryan Jack. He didn't play him in that position, mate.
That's true. But you know, I just think it was a mistake playing him altogether. I've just went right off Ryan Jack, you know, for quite a while.
Right, go back really to like, that was nearly 3 weeks ago. We're just
Saturday's game.
Right, Saturday.
I felt that we're obviously, as we're all saying, we need to work on our shooting because the last 2 games we've had 37 shots, only 9 on target, and we've only had 2 goals. So what does that tell you? We also need to work on our offside. Do our players not come at the offside rule is? Because it's cost us 3 goals in the last 2 games. You look at that, the offside rules cost us 3 goals. We let Kyogo, we played him onside, when there was nobody really marking him. And I think, you know how you were saying we played deep? It's because it has pace. We don't have the pace. That's why we played so deep against him.
I
think
think
Saturday, it was another pretty poor display. But what I will say is, we went up there we bet far better teams, with better managers, and no got a result. You know, as you're saying, it was all about the result, but it wasn't a very convincing performance. Good to see Lawrence back.
Aye, nice. Good to see Lawrence
back. See if we get him and Cantwell fit, that could be two really good players for us. That could make a hell of a difference for us in the middle, around about the middle of the park. And in the attacking sense.
It's where we play them. Right, so going back to Williams' point, AK, about the offside, you touched on that. What was your thoughts on it? What were you thinking, AK, when you seen it live and then when you seen the replay? Because I'm still not convinced.
No, when I seen it live, I thought that Sima, I thought he might have no got to the line in time, but I thought the linesman would give him the benefit of doubt. By the time the ball got to past him, he'd already taken a step the other way to then chase the ball down. So I thought the goal actually looked good. And then when I seen the lines actually drawn on the TV, I definitely thought it looked good. We're getting this goal here, but they chopped it off for the VAR. I mean, Willie's right. I mean, Dessers was slow off the mark for the goal that Matondo scored in the Old Firm. So that was 100% offside. I know where you're coming from. I thought once we get rid of Sakala, I think we'd have sorted our offside issues, but they still seem to be the case, don't they? But listen, I think it's just about players reacting better to the ball that's coming through to them and make sure their line's covered. I think the likes of Sima and Matondo, they shouldn't really be getting caught offside because they've got the pace to get by the guys in the first place. It's the likes of Dessers, who is slow. That's why he's trying to cheat the offside for me.
But you're never going to get away with cheating at that much, are you?
No.
See the VAR in the Saturday's game, Rocks. I think that they've not got enough cameras to make that decision through the VAR. I think they've got a camera at the halfway line and maybe a camera at the corner flag, and that was right in between. And they're showing us, you know, they're just showing us anything. And I don't think they've got enough cameras to get that accurately. I felt it was a good goal. I was sitting there saying, you know how you get the feeling, you think that's a good goal. He's onside. And I was shocked when they come back with the VAR and said, oh no, it's offside. And they didn't really show you any convincing evidence that he was offside. I don't think.
See the linesman, William. He flagged for a foul. He was flagging for a foul. He put his flag down. The move carried on if we scored the goal. Then he ran back to where he was flagging for the foul and put his flag up again. So that referee got it wrong. He thinks he was flagging for offside. He was flagging for a foul. Right. Then they went to VAR. The VAR, it wasn't offside. It just wasn't offside. And it wasn't a foul either. But watch it again. I
didn't notice. Did you notice how they restarted the game? Was it a direct free kick or was it an indirect free kick? Did you notice? If it's indirect, the referee will have his hand up in the air. That means indirect. That means it was offside. If his hand's down, he gave a direct for a foul. That's the thing.
If you go back and watch it again, William, you see, watch the linesman. I watched it this morning.
I know he did. Put his flag up and then down.
No, he's waving it for a foul. He's waving it
for
a foul.
Right, that's English
and then put it back down, and then ran down the line, then ran back when the goal went in and put it and stood where he was flagging for the foul. That's what happened with him. That's what he was running up doing like a demented monkey.
I want to put you in the spot, William.
Aye.
What about Albert's idea for sorting out professional fouls?
What is the idea?
Well, we exaggerated a wee bit. He wants to give you an orange card for a professional foul. You go off the park for 10 minutes. And after the third orange card, we exaggerated. The opposition get to pick who you take off for your team.
No, you added that, and that's not my idea. My idea was after 3 professional fouls, the 4th professional foul is an automatic red card for your guy. No a yellow card, a red card. No matter if he's got a yellow card or not, it's an automatic red card.
AK, you're with me. My idea's better, isn't it?
Sin bin. You want to bring in a sin bin?
No,
I think they should all.
He's got bands and marching women and everything in this idea. It's nothing to do with that, mate. It's about the team. Your team do 3 professional fouls. On the 4th professional foul's a red card, no matter who commits it in your team, whether they're on a yellow or no. It's to stop them. So you let the captain of each team. That's you had 3 professional fouls. 3 bookings you've had. No more. Somebody's getting a red card. The next professional foul that any of your team commit, it's a red card.
I still think my idea would be better. Right, anyway, we've been joined by Cairo. Evening, Cairo.
Good evening, Ox. How you doing, Sam?
Good to hear you, Mom Bucker. How's things?
I'm doing fine,
Good, mate.
Relaxing and enjoying myself. Listening to you guys there. I'm actually alive tonight, rather than the archive loyal. So it's good to hear you. Usual debates. How you saying? Another lot there? Are you all right? All bearing that,
Good.
All right,
How are you?
We're looking after that camel.
Not bad. Always.
Brownlaw's in Egypt just now. I don't know what he'll come back with.
How are we doing, Cairo? What's on your mind, Mucker? Oh, we lost him, Cairo.
He's dropped it, I think, Ox.
Oh,
The sands of time.
Oh dear. He might have taken the hump. We mentioned camels.
Away for a smoke.
Hopefully he'll be back with us. One of these gentlemen, Sir Cairo. Right.
He's maybe hit the Bridgeman button.
Well, Bridgeman might be watching his second favourite team tonight. Don't know where he is.
Final. I've got Man City game on. It's 9 each.
Oh, I taped that. I was going to watch that after the show. Thanks for that.
I'm not started yet. Still the warm-up. Man City are totally camped in their half. Totally. I've been since the start.
There you go.
Ox.
Yes, mate.
No, I was going to say, can I get Willie and then Albert thoughts to Ronnie McKinnon? I know you gave yours earlier there, just to hear more about him if I could.
I think you need to go back. I don't mean to be disparaging Wally, maybe Albert's old enough to see all McKinnon games, mate.
I did see Ronnie McKinnon.
You didn't see all his games for the early 60s, mate. Come on.
No, I know him more. What the binding memory I've got of Ronnie McKinnon is these shorts. He kept pulling these shorts right up. You remember that, Kerry? You think Grealish and all them, they've invented that? I think Ronnie was doing that back in the 60s. But he kept... I remember Ronnie McKinnon keeping Colin Jackson out the team for years, remember? Years and years and years. Big Bomber Jackson. He took over for him. But he was like... What I remember of Ronnie McKinnon is a good centre-half, a really good centre-half.
Well, I was only a boy then. I mean, my first Rangers hero was Colin Steen, but I do remember Ronnie McKinnon, but not in any great detail, if you know what I mean. You know, Colin Jackson, aye, and he was a fair player, you know. So if he was keeping him at the team, you know, but I don't. It's just a wee bit too far back for me, or maybe I was too much concentrating on Colin Steen. Maybe I was a glory hunter.
You need to go back about another decade, AK, yeah?
Aye.
I gathered that. I mean, he had some history. He played in, was it 67 Cup Winners' Cup final, Bob Jervis saying last night, and then he broke his leg. Is that right, when we got to the Cup Winners' Cup final? So really, really unlucky. But also...
I think that was his last game for us, mate, if I'm being honest. I need to check that out.
Is that right? Aye. I heard also that he played in the 67 game when we beat England with Baxter and the keeper uppy, and then Greg with the 2 centre-halves.
Greg McKinnon and Baxter played in that game. If that helps you, Albert, I don't think I'm going to that team. I'm coming back to you.
Sounds all right.
Back in the days when Rangers players played for Scotland. Huh?
Aye, true.
guys like Ian McMillan, and then he finished up with guys in 71, 72. You forget Colin Steele and Willie Johnson, who crossed the eras, and Alec MacDonald and Tommy McLean. You sort of went from the 60s to the 70s, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man. What a nice guy, I must say. What a nice guy. And let me see.
He was Hall of Fame as well, Oxford, wasn't he?
Without a doubt. And that was a famous game. His last game where he broke his leg. We lost 4-3. Away to Sporting Lisbon, of course, like any Rangers supporter, you know the story for that night, AK.
Is that the one where we thought we were out and then we get through with the away goal rule? Is that one?
There was penalty kicks, wasn't there?
I don't know, was there?
Oh, I thought any Rangers supporter would know that.
Oh, aye, we lost the penalties, didn't we? We thought we were out.
Just go back to my point. You thought any Rangers supporter would know that. It's good buff, wouldn't you?
Who got us through with the rule book?
Team after all bear.
I threw me under a bus, you. Some mate, yes. We'll be back to you. We'll be back to you in approximately 12 minutes, mate.
Good for you. I'll be here.
All right, I think Cairo's back with us. But you're right. How we doing? All right. What happened? You have to put.
You cut me off before I could say anything controversial. I know that.
Cairo, you got to pay the bill.
I heard that. I heard something about camels, and that was it. I don't know whether I was meant to respond or not, but I don't know what that was. Something about camels and then my brother-in-law. I don't know.
Was it no caramels?
We thought you took a hump.
Twice.
On dromedary.
What's on your mind, Cairo?
I've just been listening to the comments for last week, and I've just been. I nearly phoned in last Tuesday, and that was me. I wasn't even live. I was listening to you, and Linda was the only one that made sense of it. The rest of you were all kind of a babbling a wee bit about, whose fault it is and all that kind of thing, that we're not playing well and all that type of thing. And I'm glad to spare a wee bit about the Rangers support, about how they're not giving Beale a chance. Basically, they're saying he's no this and he's no that and they're no this and they're no that. Man, I think you can't blame the man for some of the goals we lost. The manager, it's to do with how our defence is crap. To be quite frank about it, a couple of bad mistakes have caused us to lose goals. And you can't legislating for it. I mean, I'm no lover of goals, and I think he's a poor defender. And I think, we've tried, just in my way of logic, when I look at things, we've changed everybody, bar the two folks who are Golston and Tavernier. We've changed their goalkeeper, we've changed their left-hand side of their part, we've changed the midfield, we've changed the attackers. I know you say, if we score more goals, it doesn't matter. But we still lose stupid goals. And we've built our team around the two folks, and they're still there and we're still making the same mistakes. So I'll let you draw your own conclusions for that. But I think when you look at the overall situation, I honestly don't see the negativity with Beale just now. I mean, he's brought in players, and I know that's all cliche about getting them gelling and that. I don't think they've been that far away. And I think confidence is a huge amount to do with it. The two goals you were just talking about around, against them, the one that was chopped off for offside, and then the one that should never have been chopped off for anything. Imagine them getting in and scoring. You're in. You've got leaps and bounds forward. I still think he's thinking too much. I mean, I think personally, you play your best team in week to week. Playing your best team doesn't means you're not changing 5 players every week. It's crazy. You pick your best team, and then as players go out of form, you bring in other players. And once they've got the jersey, it's their jersey to lose. But it needs something bad to get them at loose, or somebody does something in the training ground that's exceptional to get them to win the jumper. And that's the bit that's missing, I think. And I think that's all Beale needs to do. I think he's trying to either find where his best players are, but he should know that by now. I mean, that is a fault that I don't think he's fixed. But I just don't see this view that Beale must go. I honestly don't get it. I know that people aren't happy with him, but I think get a couple of good results, start getting these players playing together a wee bit. And your best team should be out there so that they're fighting, and that gives them something to fight for. They're playing for the jumper then, and then you start to get players playing. Biggest problem for me is leadership in the park. That's still missing, and I think if we had a wee more leadership in the park, it might engender a bit of that. But changing 5 and 6 players every week, I think, is a nonsense. Just wanted to get all of that off my chest because that's what I've been listening to the last couple of weeks, last week or so.
Well said, Carol, well said. AK.
You're entitled to your opinion, Cairo. In my point of view, I just think where the negativity comes from is the longevity that he's had. It's no 4 games, 5 games that people keep saying. No for me. I know it's the newer players, that is the case for them, but it's the fact that he's at 10 months now they're nearly 11 months. That's sort of the time scale that Gio had, and we were chasing Gio when Gio got us to a European final and he also won a Scottish Cup. He was basically dealing with Gerrard's players. It wasn't a great recruitment, we thought, for him either, but we got us through at the Champions League, which was a kind of mini success. Obviously, the story after that, we didn't do too well. It's well documented. Beale hasn't even got us to the Champions League. We've only played 5 games and we're 4 points behind. He's lost big games, semi-final, Scottish Cup, final, League Cup. Other games against the Old Firm, against Celtic, we've no won. That's 7 big games in the last 10, 11 months, and that's where the negativity is coming from. I totally agree with you. Our defence, he's trying to build a team and a foundation that is a rocky foundation at best, and it's been that case for the last 4, 5, 6 years. He should probably have started there first with his intention of changing the team. He's let goals walk out the team, and the players that he's brought in aren't the same standard for me as what the guys he's replaced, coming in. Their numbers aren't nowhere near as good as what Cholak and Sakala is. Arfield even Morelos had better numbers than some of these guys that's coming in. He's playing players out of position. I just think that the players are unsure of what roles that they want to play in the team. Beale's a pretty negative manager, and it's only when he takes the shackles off of guys that's when we start to look like a wee bit of a team again. It's a long season. We're just starting the season, but the fact that all these negativities hitting us right away, you're right, it's going to filter onto the confidence of the team. The confidence of him as a manager will be taking a hit now, and we've also had major changes within the boardroom too. So there's a lot of uncertainty about the whole club now, and it's just that the only people who can rectify that is the manager and the players, and we just need to see where we go for that.
Just explain the numbers. Sakala and Cholak's numbers.
I believe it was 30 goals between the two. 30.
Aye, but
it was 18 and 12.
If you look at Danilo, minutes on the park, you'll be ahead of Sakala and Cholak.
Yep. I think Roof was is the same, wasn't he?
Well,
With the starts with the numbers.
If you throw in the two, it was chopped half. His numbers are frightening, Frightening.
I know.
All right, I'll give Cairo the right to reply. Cairo?
I did hear what you're saying, and the minute you said to me you're entitled to your opinion, I know you're going to disagree with me, so you're entitled to your opinion. They're different players. I mean, it was unlucky as well. He had 3 of his top players down tools, basically. Kent never did a bit. Morelos just didn't do anything, and I know he's saying he's come back for an injury and that, but he down tools. And to me, that's a big ask. And it was coming in, and the 2 players he bought Todd Cantwell. When I found it, the minute I seen Todd Cantwell coming on and starting to run about and playing last season, it was the only player that was running. And you're saying, well, that's because he'll soon bring him down to your level next season. And to an extent, he probably has, because he's still running about, but he's doing it now because that's what he does. He's not doing it with any sort of a any confidence or purpose of the overall shape. We still look like a team of individuals, and that's the bit that really, the bit that does worry me a bit. I thought they're kind of we're starting to see. I mean, so that the Sakala misses that we had against Celtic. Fashion should have scored day two, the same as the fella that missed the ones. The ones that were missed against Celtic. They're against Celtic. There are a couple of fine margins, and missing easy chances like that doesn't help. And we're not scoring enough goals. We get that, but I think Beale has picked these players. He's went for these players to play a certain way, and I just don't understand why he's changing it a bit as much. I don't know whether he's trying to just keep everybody happy, or whether he's going to be his best player and saying to the other ones, well, if you're here, you need to fight for the jumper. But I just don't get this clamour to get rid of him after 5 or 6 games.
That's quite a question.
Aye, no bother. Right, dive in.
I'll ask you a question quickly, and I'll take it around the panel. And Robert, we've not forgot about your question, which is coming up after the tune.
Oh,
right?
Anyway, mate.
He'll be putting a sick note in. He'll get a letter for his mom for after the tune.
Oh,
right?
I never run away, mate. I'll face up all the time.
Right. I think. Do you think there's a certain percentage of support, and Wally can come in with this as well? Just quickly, yes or no? Some of the negativity is because people didn't want him there in the first place. They didn't think he was right for the job for various reasons. So then, when things don't go as well, it makes the clamour quicker because people had they bought into the idea. If that makes sense, Albert, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. AK.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Right. What was your rationale when he got the job, Cairo, with you? Yes or no?
Well, my rationale was that the board knew him because he was there previous, and they must have saw something in him. And they brought him back in to try and steady the ship because they thought Gio was a disaster. Don't know why they thought Gio, but obviously the way things were going. And I think they brought him in thinking that they know the way he works. And they must have been prepared to support him because they gave him the money. So I think the board did their thing based on the fact this guy could do a job for us. So they've seen something. And I think, that takes time to become, to come to fruition. I'm just, as I said, the biggest issue for me is 5 changes every week's not going to work. Pick your best team and then let everybody else fight for it.
William?
He's back.
I was happy for him to get the job. Based on what he'd done before alongside Gerrard, I think he was a tactician, Gerrard was a motivator. And I think that, there was a lot of people didn't want him, but I think, yes, they're jumping on the bandwagon now. Maybe all along they've been hoping things would go wrong because they think he's not good enough for us. Although they want us to win, obviously, but, So I think, yes, I'd agree, yes.
And you come on
out the woodwork because they didn't want him in the first place.
The problem I've got, William, is he spoke himself into this position. Nobody else done it. He done it all by himself, by the way. He got everybody's expectations up. And we cut him that slack last year when he put us out of the League Cup, lost us the League Cup final, put us out of the Scottish Cup in the semi-final, and threw away any resemblance we could have made a challenge on the league, even reducing the points. All right, it happened later on when the league was done, but that doesn't count. But he kept telling us that once he get his aid team, it's all going to be different next year. Play a brand of football you're all going to love. Get these players in. I've looked them in the eye. I'm happy with these players. These players are going to take us forward. A step up. Cifuentes, he's another level. He's going to take us on to another level as well. So he spoke all this and we all bought in it. And I'm going, oh yeah, because I was really looking forward to the season, really looking forward to it. And I'm going, this is going to be interesting. We get to come on and fall flat in my face. And it started for there, mate. It started for there.
I know you're trying to put this question up, but we're going to have to go to your tune.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. We'll come back to you. And we will. Right, get yourself on mute. We'll come back to Kyle's point as well. Get yourself on mute because we're going to have a tune.
why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, I've had a few texts and a few suggestions. Albert, you're off the hook. I've been asked to go to 8K with
it. I'm having poor Wi-Fi.
Man down.
Black cock down.
Always a double bluff. There's always a double bluff, Albert, isn't there?
I know. It's not that. Me and Mrs. Albert put our heads together.
Right, so what you got? Richie Shearer, Caldo, right? Greg
Right,
McKinnon,
Richie Shearer,
Baxter.
Caldo, Greg McKinnon, Baxter, McMillan, Muller, Brandon Wilson.
And
Got to say
you
Mrs.
forgot one
Albert.
out. You forgot
Mrs.
one
Albert.
out.
Oh, she did, no me.
You forgot one out. Little guy, glasses, winger.
Henderson.
Well done. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. I can never
All right,
remember that team.
You're right with that. Yeah.
That's
team,
the... Only played 12 times together.
Something mental like that. Yeah, that team only played. Yeah.
Yep.
Lex McLean sung about them, didn't he? He sung the song, didn't he?
Aye, Lex McLean.
I think
that's well, taking your points up, Cairo. I think that's some of the reasons why he's getting flack so quickly, so early in the season. Yeah, the fact that we were out against PSV was a surprise to people. I don't think we were favourites, and we won the favourites last year, and we got through this year. It wasn't that we get knocked out; it was a manner, losing 3-4, 5-1. We never liked that, Cairo. So then you're behind the 8 ball, and then he comes up with that flat performance against them. So the snowball starts building, doesn't it, mate?
It does, and that's the issue. And it's up to him to fix it. I mean, that's where good managers become great managers, or ordinary managers become really good managers. You take them, and it's how they react and how they get their players motivated to play a game. There's a problem at Ibrox that when they players cross that white line, and we've been talking about it. I mean, we talked about it ages ago. Where's the leaders on that park? Where are they? I mean, I watched that game against. Something happens to him badly, they're just on about, and that's something that exemplifies. It's a symptom of the whole thing that their players, when they go that white line, there is nothing there that's bringing them on, leading them on, and that's a hard thing to take for me. And I think that's part of the problem that we had with the 2 games. We had nobody to bring us up. I'm not saying that the manager wasn't doing that off the ball and off the prior to the game and all that, geeing them all up. But once they cross that line, that's up to them. And it's the same with the stupid mistakes that we keep making. The manager can legislate for, the teamwork and the shape and all that kind of thing. But some of the goals we've been losing have just been incredulous. I mean, it's basic fundamental football. And you think to yourself, well, gee, peeps, how the heck's that happening? And that's the bit that worries me. If you'd somebody like, I don't know, an Alec McDonald even, who was, Alec McDonald, I thought he was a fantastic player, and he demanded the rest of the team played, and whenever they weren't, he was always shouting and ragging them. We had loads of players all through you could pick out through the eras who we had to do that. Well, nobody there doing that now, and that's where a big miss is. And I think that's something to do with confidence within themselves. I think it's something to do with confidence within the team, and there's something missing there. And we've been saying it for ages now. I think we need somebody. See with an Ian Ferguson in there.
Well, things were different. We thought Ryan Jack might have been that guy, maybe once. Anyway, we'll come back to your points, Carol. We've been joined by Darren. Evening, Darren.
Good evening, Rangers Radio. It's been a while. I'm missing quite a lot in that. How are we doing? We're missing quite a lot in that part, in my opinion.
Carry on, mate. I never caught what you said there.
I said we're missing a lot. We're missing a lot in the park, to be honest. You know, the best player in that part's the goalkeeper, to be honest. You know, and what does Roof need to do to get a game, or to be consistent in the team?
Oh, nice to stay fit, mate. That would help. You know.
Aye, you get that. Aye.
He needs to stay fit. I mean, he's started the last 2 games since he's been fit, so he's earned his right to be in the team going forward. Albert.
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. Any shadow of a doubt. I take Cairo's point as well. I've been saying it and all. Totally agree with Cairo and Darren about leadership and the heart to win and own the park when we're on the park during games. You don't see it; it's not there. It's so this nicey enough. You've been saying it as well. You've been on about dark arts. We're no up with our dark arts the same as other teams are. It's true. A good example is that carry on with the across the other side of the city. When that goal was, that referee was looking at that decision. Who's standing at the shy line waiting for him? McGregor. 2-3 Celtic players run about him. Who's walking beside him when he's walking back onto the park to make a decision? McGregor. Where's your captain? Where is he? He should be. That McGregor's on that. Aye, why not?
The VAR, in my opinion, has just killed the game completely. Completely killed the game, in my opinion.
Separate issue, mate. It's one of the things that it was brought in for the right reasons, but it's not getting used properly at the moment. It's just idiots that's using it. No, I mean, that decision, for example, wasn't a clear and obvious mistake. Why it went to VAR, nobody can answer the question. But you're right, in some circumstances it is killing the game. But going back to what I'm saying about the team, why are we no hounding the referee? Cairo said that. Why are we no hounding the referee? Every other team's doing it. No, us. We let everything go. But one of my big problems is, I remember a guy telling us, a mate used to be a scout for Hearts, and he got taken up to Hampden as a part of a wee seminar. And the guy who was doing the speaking was an old coach come psychologist. And he was saying 85 to 90% of games are winning the tunnel. I totally believe that, by the way. And if you look at our players and the captain in the tunnel, any big game, we're playing them. He always lets that. I've stayed to Southside today. He always lets that McGregor walk out in front of him. Always. Should never let him walk out in front of you. But every single game we play him, he lets him do it. He's drinking water or whatever he drinks, and as the head's down, and he doesn't look positive. Not just Tav. It's not just him. It's the whole team. You've got to have that steely look about yourself. They've got to know. Oh, we can't get messed about the day. We can't mess them about today. But the way we walk about, shoulders down, no looking at the opposition, don't want to get involved in any confrontations. It's all got to change, mate. It's got to be nasty. I'd rather have a nasty team than a good team.
A winning team, mate.
A winning nasty team.
Mm-hmm. And you come, Darren?
It's just we want a good team, and we want to win on that park. You know what I mean? That game at Ibrox was just disaster. They goals were never offside. Never, in my opinion. There just wasn't any fight the team, Hawks, in my opinion.
Are you saying that Desser's goal wasn't offside, mate?
No, the Desser's one was, but the other one wasn't. The Roof one.
No,
it wasn't a foul.
He gave a foul, wasn't he offside?
Aye, sorry, a foul.
Aye, it was the weekend the goal was chopped up for offside, yeah? Yeah, but listen, I'll go to Cairo and then AK can come in. Leadership, and sometimes people are there too long, get too comfortable. Could that be any job, Cairo?
Absolutely. You've got to keep two things. The person in the job themselves, they get comfortable, start getting lax, complacent. But people run about them. Leadership's about moving the folk on or doing something different with them or getting them somewhere else. So you've got to, and players, the one thing about Alex Ferguson in Manchester United, he never let any player get bigger in the club. Whenever it started, whenever a threat came, they were gone. But the other thing he did was he moved players about. He moved players out that were, gone beyond their sell-by date type of thing. He wasn't feared to do that either. And that's what made the difference for him, I think. And people who played for him knew that if they were playing well, generally they were going to get the jersey. So they had to play well. And I think that's the difference. We've got players that are playing there week in, week out, good, bad, or indifferent. A couple of them. But the other thing is, you've got players that are playing well one week, and the next week they're off because he's changing all the teams. So they're saying, well, what the heck am I doing wrong if I'm not playing here? And I know you could say, well, it's a different horses for courses, different teams, but no 5-6 players all the time. And that's ludicrous. So it has to fix that. So I think there's a bit in that, and of course, because of that, you don't get a set team, so you don't get people building up relationships, and then maybe that leadership's lost there as well. The fall between the gaps. A guy who was maybe going to do that after playing 2 games, suddenly he's dropped the 3rd game. Who's going to listen to him in the 4th game? So there might be a bit of that in there as well. But we definitely need some sort of a structure or folk on there that are going to start challenging each other. Not just the manager challenge, but challenging each other. That's part of it as well. So that's what's missing, and I think that gets you the cohesion as well.
AK.
I agree with a lot of Cairo's saying there. I think he's nailed it with leadership. I think there's been a lack of leadership in the team for a lot of years, particularly in the big games. And this is where the focal point comes back unfairly on Beale. We're kind of looking at him and possibly blaming the wrong guy because he is losing the bad games. But once the players cross the white line, it's down to the players. What happens to the players' responsibility? They seem to shirk it and pin all the blame on Beale. Sometimes a manager will take that, sometimes unfairly. But what I will say is that team that he picked at Perth on Saturday there, many Scots was in the team? 0. Is that the problem? Because we're losing our identity over the years. We're not having the Scots guys in the team, to work that extra year, to put that tackle in, to roll the sleeves up and get in about your opposition when they put it in your face. Mentioned Ali McDonald. We've seen great players over the years. That identity, that will to win, that desire was always there. You couldn't accuse the Rangers team of lacking that, and that's possibly a problem. Maybe we're shopping in the wrong market. Why are we ignoring the Scottish market? There's guys out there that we could have had that we've let go, i.e. a Lewis Ferguson, i.e. a Shankland. We kind of turn our nose up at these guys at the time. People saying, they're not good enough for our club, but are these guys that we've got to know good enough for our club? Because it doesn't look like it. So I think there's a wee bit of an identity problem with the team as well as the leadership.
William, can you come?
I think, some of the performances that our team are putting in, if that was Walter Smith, Graham Souness, Joe Wallace, Big McLeish, no way would they players be back in that dressing room having given a performance like some of them are giving. They'd be absolutely scared to go back to the dressing room. I don't think they've got the same respect for Beale as they would have for somebody. I think the other managers had a lot more authority about them, and they could put the fear of death into the players. And maybe because they'd done things in the game that Beale hasn't done, especially Gerrard. I think he commanded a lot of respect, as did these other managers. I think Beale just doesn't command that respect. I think his recruitment, getting into the summer, we knew that we needed legs in the midfield. That across the city, they'd signed the Japanese Olympic sprint team. We needed legs in that midfield. First thing he did was he gave Ryan Jack another contract, and then he brought in all these players. We didn't know much about these players, but we're taking it. He's done his homework. These are good players. We're going to get some legs, but we haven't got that legs in the midfield that we needed. We needed that to compete. And I think Lawrence, he's a good. You're talking there about a player that will get stuck in. He's a player that will get stuck in. We saw him against us in the pre-season. He played against us. You've seen him when he played for Derby. He's a physical player, apart from being a skillful player and a player that can get you some goals to the midfield. He's a physical player. And see that lot getting run about the referee. That's a poor referee. If that happened to me when I was refereeing, I'd just say, wait a minute, stop. I'm walking up there. If you're going up to that to look at that monitor, I'm walking up there. Anybody that follows me up there, they're going in the book. Simple as that. Get away from me. Stay away from me. I don't want to hear anything from you. I don't want to listen to anything you've got to say. I don't want to hear anything you've got to say. Stay away from me. Don't try and influence my decisions. Stay away. Get lost. And that's what he should have done. Because Robertson's walking about with a big smile on his face.
So maybe that's how you've been married 7 times. You maybe think that's how you've been married 7 times, Holly.
Absolutely spineless.
I would have handled it different for you. I'd have just pulled out my red card and started flashing it to him, but that's just me personally.
Well, there'd have been enough of them, you know.
No. Right, okay. But it's interesting. I think Tav and Goldson have at times done as well and been good players for us. Tav's numbers are unbelievable. It's whether you think he's that type of player or maybe in the right position. There's things that happen that when he comes out to the left-hand side to take a corner kick, and then they've got other players that can do the same kick, and then he's got to get back out the right-hand side. I don't understand it from a tactical point of view. You know, he couldn't be further away from his own position.
Oh, did you notice that Glenn Kamara, when he left the club, he said, when he got interviewed, he said the biggest influence on him on the field and off the field was Connor Goldson. Didn't they mention Tav? Didn't they mention the manager? We
hear that, we've heard that the Goldson's the most vocal, but that doesn't also, because you're the most vocal, doesn't mean you're a leader all there, does it?
But he said he's the biggest influence, though.
Aye. On you go, Albert.
No, it doesn't. I mean, usually, at amateur level anyway, usually the one that does the most talking is the one that's hiding because they're not playing well. They just shout the ball at everybody else. But no, one of the problems I've got is that teams normally reflect the character of the manager, like Walter Smith. I mean, that's the word. So I'm a great believer in that. And Bill comes out as just a nice guy. Walter Smith came out as a guy not to be messed about. Jock Wallace is the same. Wally Waddle was the same. All these guys. So I think it's a bit of that. You've got to have the right guy in the dugout with that attitude that you're not getting in that dressing room, because you know if you get in that dressing room, you're getting pinned up against the wall because you've not done your job right. And the rest of your team should be doing the same as well. You've got to first and foremost look at yourself before you criticise anybody else. Look at yourself. And Walter Smith was a good man for letting them know. Don't you shout at any other player unless you are 100% sure that you're doing everything you can. And by the way, when a player's not playing well, one of the things you've got to do is go and help your teammate. You can't just stand back and let a player play well and no give him a horn. And I think there's too much of that now, especially in the Rangers team. It's that, I'm not getting involved. I'll stay out the way of this. You can't do that. Good teams don't do that. You're all pitching together. You're all together. Win and lose as a team, blah, blah. You've heard all the cliches, mate. It's all true. All the cliches are true. You've got to dig in, roll the sleeves up and get tore into it. That's just the facts of life. But again, it's the manager that drives that, and your captain. So he picks the right captain. I'm not saying Tav's the right captain. I'm not saying any of this. I'm not getting it, Tav. But he comes out as a nice guy, a decent guy, a decent human being. I want nasty players. I want just big, horrible, nasty players.
Here.
Well, I think somebody mentioned Ian Ferguson. I get it. I thought Lundstrom could have gone into that role for us, and maybe Jack when he was there. Obviously, Jack's fitness sake, and Lundstrom's been in and out of the team, hasn't he?
Aye, the two of them seem to be sharing the same kind of role. It's either one or other. As you say, unfortunately, injuries is catching up with Jack and his age and stuff. Lundstrom did look as if he was going to kind of step up, but then he dips out again for the Old Firm game, and he's no really reappeared there. So I don't know where he's going. Ben Raskin could play that role potentially. He seems to have a wee bit about him, but it's where Beale sees it, the future of the team. It's all right having kind of young guys in that. He's certainly reduced the age of the team, but it's whether he's getting the right players in there. You still need that experience and you still need that physicality in the team. By I don't know where Lundstrom's going to go beyond on this year, because I think this is the last year of his contract, the same with Barisic. So that's two areas of the team where we possibly need to, get more recruitment for. We don't know what's happening with Ridvan long term either. So that's other areas of the team we could be looking to strengthen.
Their contracts might not.
Folks, have you noticed that when we've got big games coming up, Recruitment tries best to get into the team, and it looks like Barisic, he tries his best to get out of the team, or to avoid the big moments, like penalty shootouts or whatever. Whereas Roofy's right, he seems to reappear when the big games are coming up. He's desperate to play in the big games. As Albert says, a lot of psychology. A hell of a lot of psychology. And some players are a lot tougher than others. And obviously some managers are. I spoke to a few referees that dealt with Jock Stein, and everyone said the same thing. It was an ignoramus. Absolute ignoramus. Not job.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine any players getting in there no having done the job, getting in to face that? He was a big man,
Well, maybe he should have just lifted the phone.
And he went to the right school.
Aye. He didn't know how to use the phone.
He didn't know how to use the phone. And he knew. Right, okay. Where are we? Right, sometimes you do a rabbit hole where you don't know where you're going to go in here, Cairo, yeah?
Aye, absolutely. A couple of things. I mean, there's one of the things that I think Albert said earlier on about you lose the game in the dressing room, in the tunnel. I remember talking to an ex. He was actually played with Rangers for a wee while, and then he moved to Dunfermline and was at Hamilton. And he said they were standing in the tunnel one of the times, and he says, we're 1-0 down right away. He says, these Rangers players come out, he says, they exuded confidence. You could see it, even their players that were 6-foot, that type of thing, they all shriveled up. He says, we're 1-0 down. He says, I tried to G them up the tunnel, he says, but it was done, the damage was done. These Rangers, they came out oozing confidence. He says, when you're standing next to these guys, they're a wee bit aura about them. None of that now. We've not got any of that stuff. That's a fact. I think that's strutting your stuff. I'm not saying you need to be ugly or nasty or anything like that, but strutting your stuff, having confidence, showing that you've got a bit about you, that obviously has something, and that comes back to confidence as well. And when you talk about Bale not having the respect, if you like, of the other players, I don't really buy that. I mean, he's brought the players in. They've came because he's went and seen them. All the talk was, they're my players. I've went and seen them. I've looked them eye to eye. So I'm taking it that they've came because he's managed to persuade them to come there. So I think there is a bit of respect there. I think one of the things for me is, and I'm saying to myself, he must have a plan, because he chased Cifuentes for a couple of years. He chased
Lammers,
and he chased the centre forward just when he chased him for a wee while as well. No, the other one, I want to get injured there.
Danilo.
They were after, he's known him for a couple of years. So you think to yourself, well, if he's chasing the players to do a specific thing, he must have a plan of how he wants them to play. And we just haven't seen that yet. And I think that's something that I said when I was on about 4 weeks ago. I said, that's the blue shoots that I see coming through. The fact that, he must have a plan. He must have something, because he's went for these players to fit in somewhere, and we just haven't seen it yet. So again, this chopping and changing just bemuses me. I don't understand it when you think you'd have a plan. So that's a couple of points I was going to make there.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. We've been joined by old David, who's always got a plan. Evening, David.
Hey, Ox. Hey, Albert. How you doing, AK? Good to hear you.
Good to hear from you, mate.
Just something that Albert, I totally agree with Albert what he's talking about. I know everybody's getting on Tavernier's case, but I've been picking up on that for, I can't remember how long. See him standing and to go out and play for Glasgow Rangers as a captain with a bottle of ginger in his hand. It does my nut in. Absolutely does my nut in. And then he runs out and throws it onto the track. That's not a Rangers captain. And everybody says, well, who would you have? Well, the answer is nobody in that team, because we've no got a captain in that team. I don't care what anybody says. No, what we should have. And if you talk about McGregor, you talk about any team. And any captains you see standing there, they're neither turning around, motivating them and getting on their case and saying, right, come on, let's get up for it. No, him. He's standing there with a bottle of juice. Nah, that doesn't wash for me. That's my rant for the night.
You go to your bed now.
Oh, day, I've waited for that. Oh, day, I've waited for that.
I came in for left side. I've never said that. Oh, that's fine.
I brought my ginger.
And I must say, Cairo was very correct in his opinions. Very correct about where very similar, and it's nice to hear other people picking up on these things.
Aye. As a captain, AK, as a captain in the modern football, is it a thing it's no the same as it was back a generation, 2 generations ago?
Aye, you probably got a point there, because, as I say, that most of the clubs, the players that played with the teams were in some way affiliated to being a boyhood supporter of that team, and I think that's where the identity that the club and that came through the character of the captain. The captain was basically your on-field manager. And he was a guy that wouldn't respect. He had to be there basically every game as well. So for a start, he had to be good enough to start in the team. We also had to respect the dressing room, and also, the guy to give you the instructions that the manager was giving. I know where you're coming from. There are that many, I would say, mercenaries in football now. They're just passing through. They're just badge kissers. I know Tavernier's longevity, he's the longest serving player that we've got in our team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's got captain qualities. What's so funny there, Willie?
There's a team playing away in Holland. They're down to 9 players.
All right.
I'm just going to say it again, Willie. All Bear was taking that to watch it later.
Hey, Wally, you'll never get me taking one of their games. I'll tell you that.
You're right. Me neither, pal. Me neither.
Hey, All Bear, I don't know how you can remember Wally Henderson.
One at a time.
Sorry.
David,
you're right, mate.
David, you're on an orange card.
We're in the sin bin.
I was really disappointed when he couldn't remember that team. Really was.
I'm terrible, mate. I'm terrible.
How you can't remember Henderson, McMillan, Miller, Brand, Wilson? That was the best team I've ever had.
Don't give him an orange card. She'll eat it.
An orange Malteser.
Right. Well, at least I've seen good football players. Yous are struggling now. They're no good, but that Scottish League's mince.
David
I'm a kid-on Rangers supporter, aren't I, mate? I'm just a kid-on Rangers supporter.
Right. Well, leadership, Cairo, modern football, the captain, you don't get John Greggs anymore. Even Ian Ferguson, somebody mentioned him earlier on, guys of that ilk. But the way the game's played now, there's hardly a tackle, was there?
No, I mean...
One at a time.
It's quite distressing at times, because you see a good tackle getting penalised, and you say to yourself, "Geez, there's nothing wrong with that tackle there at all." And I think the other thing that's kind of a destroy is just a wee view. I mean, social media. After the game, we all went to the pub, and it was local. You had a local debate about who was the best player and what caused that and how this happened. Now they go into this friggin' text thing or whatever it is you call it, Facebook and all that, and eventually everybody polarises into the same position. And all gets like me that like to have your opinion, you seem to get lost away because everybody goes with the main flow. And I think when you're talking about tackles and all that type of thing, the furore when somebody has a tackle suddenly hits the it's this, the media, the social media, and everybody's aghast at it. I'm saying, that was a perfectly good tackle, but people with voices like me that like that kind of football, where that was an art in its day, was being able to defend and tackle and get into people. And I'm talking fair tacklers, hard tacklers that went in there that win the ball. Okay, they might have followed through and left their mark kind of thing, but they weren't very injured players or anything like that. And you see the contrast with that with these professional fouls, the tugging and all that. So if that has get sanitised, and I thought VAR was going to try and help that to stop all that, you maybe no get the tackling in that back kind of thing. But that still leaves a load of room for leadership, for people geeing people on, challenging people and all that sort of stuff. But how many times you went to a Rangers game and the first 4 or 5 tackles, what kind of the result's going to be? It's either going to be a really good game and Rangers play well, especially against them. It's going to be, a right good chance. Or you see them and the tackles aren't there and you're saying to yourself, geez, there's something wrong here. So, it's definitely sanitised. It's one of the kind of things that the football part of it is still there, but the actual tackling and all that, there's a lot of the skill lost and the amount of rowing about and all that kind of thing just does man nothing. But I think the social media helps that as well, because people cling to whatever's the popular view or whatever it is. So me and my mates that were in the pub years ago amongst ourselves could argue like blazes. We'd all have 5 different opinions. It's hundreds of thousands of opinions against the 4 or 5 folk that are different, and it doesn't work.
Well, William, I've said for a while that one of the problems is with the 5 substitutes, it suits the team with the cloggers, mate. You can take the 5 book players off and refresh them.
Mm-hmm.
If you only have 2 substitutes and you've got 5 players booked at half time, you've got 5, maybe 3 walking in a tightrope. Now you can replace a lot of them.
Aye. It's I think VAR it has sterilised the game. You hardly seen tackles. It's unbelievable. The game's just changed completely for me, and I don't like it. And I'll tell you, talking about cloggers getting 10 off, that might have been the case on Saturday with the guy that stuck the nut in Danilo. He might have been 10 off for the fear that he might have got sent off. Just might have. I mean, I've seen quite a few pictures of it. It's quite hard to see on the TV, but there's a few pictures, and the guy's for me, is not making any attempt to play the ball. I think it's quite dangerous the way he goes into the tackle with his head doing. And it could be construed as a straight red card. And I mean, that's the style, that's the way they are. I mean, they're the Perser sheep, and they're the woolly hammer throwers. They've kicked lumps out of us for years. That was diving about up front, that in Kane, trying to get the penalty. See, you were talking earlier on about the situation with him and Lawrence. You could see Lawrence had 2 hands on him, but it's no an offence for a player to touch an opponent. And to me, that's all he was doing, he was touching him. He's just letting him know he was there.
I thought that was
he might have moved back suddenly, and Lawrence might have got a headbutt in the face. And that's how players quite often do that. They put their arms up to stop the guy coming back and sticking a nut on them.
I think if you watch it back, his arms around his waist, mate.
Well, I didn't see that one. I only seen the one where you could see a hand up at his shoulder and a hand down a bit near his waist. That's not just, if he's got his arms round about him, that's a different subject.
I mean, my problem is for defenders, AK, is you've got to be cute now, because even when the ball's cleared, some pitcher will pick it up, goes to VAR, and it's called back 5 minutes later. It's changed again, mate.
The all seeing eye. It sees everything. And you're right.
It doesn't act on everything, Alec. That's the thing. It sees everything, but it doesn't act on everything.
I think there's another point
one
as
at
well.
Time, boys. One at a time.
Sorry, guys.
One at a time. AK, you done?
No, it's just it's every angle is there. You can't have any wee sly fouls or fly kick. There one last night. Watched Nottingham Forest, and the guy kind of threw a wee elbow and he gets sent off right at the end of the game. He would have got away with that years ago, but everything is there. But as you say, it's there also to be manipulated in the VAR room it depends who's on the controls and what their vendetta is and how they see it as well, and that's where it becomes a wee bit clouded.
Cairo?
Aye, and the example, I agree with that totally. I think the example I would use would be Danilo in that game on Sunday, that header Saturday. The essence for me of what happened to Danilo is what happened in a lot of the tackles that the players put in against Rangers, is they go in and they're generally late tackles sometimes, but they go in aggressively. Now that header that Danilo was there, it was free. It looked like a free header. The guy came in, it was late. And you're always telling, we don't give him a free header. But you weren't told to go in as aggressive as that. I mean, it's the intent. And that's where VAR getting used differently with different people. And that's where it's inconsistent. It's that thing, intent. For me, I think that guy was late when he went into Danilo. He had no chance of getting the ball, and he put his head in an area where it is dangerous. Now, like it or like it no, that's my view on it. And I think VAR, when you interpret that, if you interpret that as not being dangerous, then it means that you're setting up a view for yourself in the future. But the next time somebody goes in dangerous like that, you've got to go with the same decision, or it becomes inconsistent. And that's where it's VAR's not working, because VAR was meant to be definitive. It was looking at the laws of the game, and if you broke the law of the game in a crucial moment, then you could get the right decision made. But when it's getting left open to interpretation, the people who are doing that interpretation can interpret that to a different level or a different degree, depending on who they are. And when you get to that sort of a subjective element, then VAR's out the window. And that game where that guy went into Danilo, it was late, it was aggressive, and it was getting in with intent. And I think that's what the problem was.
Well said. Well said, Kyle.
Aye, well said.
I totally agree with that, because after I had seen it, I said, if I bring that up as a point of interest, they'll say, but that's what happened at football. You get a clash of heads. That wasn't a clash of heads. He was a mile late. He went to belt him and he got him. And VAR, I mean, we blame VAR for this, that, and the next thing, guys. But if you take VAR out of the equation, our football has went backwards long before VAR came out, with the decisions and the way the rules have changed the game. They've changed the game completely, and it suits all this kind of namby-pamby. Well, you know what we were talking about when Rangers play at home. We go one way, they go the other. The rules have just they've knackered that. I just think they've knackered the way to play football now.
Correct. Hawks?
Yes, mate.
Can I just say that, what was I going to say there? I think, see, when a player goes in for a tackle, the referee should be thinking to himself, is that player trying to play the ball? And then you say to yourself, did he play the ball? That's the most important thing. Did he try to play the ball, or did he try to play the man? Because some players are really good at going in, taking a bit of the ball and taking a bit of the man. You know, they're really good at that. A lot of good top defenders are good at that. Strikers are hopeless at it. They're hopeless at committing fouls and getting away with it, sort of thing, you know. Take a wee bit of the ball and take a bit of the man. There's an art to it.
It's an art, it's an art.
Aye. But I agree with David, the game's been ruined with VAR. And it's because the idiots that are working it, if you ask me.
It's here to stay. I mean, I think everybody's got problems with it all over the world, Albert, but I think it's here to stay, whether you like it or not.
Aye, but our version's the Fisher-Price version, remember, you know what I mean? Like the Two Bob version.
Fisher-Price lawyers are going to you, boy.
I mean, there's a guy winding it up and everything, going, where's that line? You had it yesterday. What did you do with the line? I mean, it's supposed to be 2 lines across the park. We got one, no? I mean, it's nonsense, mate. It's bad down in England, but they don't tolerate it. They go to town on it to make sure they get it as good as possible. Up here, we just accept it. No, I mean, that mom across the city, Gretton, won't about it. coming into the game. They didn't want it. All of a sudden, you don't hear a peep at them because all the decisions are going their way. All of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's nonsense. The decision at Ibrox,
no,
yeah, but the night they're out in Europe, no, I mean it's proper refereeing supposed to be, or non-biased referees, no, I mean, but that decision they gave against Dessers at Ibrox there in that last game, if that Pat tackle was one of their players at Parkhead doing that to us, that would have never, it wouldn't have went to VAR, let alone get changed. It would never have near VAR. That would have been a goal for them. And this is the problem I've got with this carry on about. You've got to harangue the referees. It's just, you've got to do it. You've no choice, but you've got to do it. Rangers have got to start doing it. Rangers have got to start complaining about the referees severely, the way they did. And if it takes for them all to go and strike again because of Rangers, well, let's do it. Because they've done it. And since they've done it, look at the decisions they get. It's ridiculous, mate. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're all shouting about, to deflect it, they shout about, Rangers have not had a penalty against them in 2 years. That's to deflect away from what they're getting away with. It's disgraceful, mate. It's disgraceful. Now we've got VAR, and as I think it was AK said, it depends who's in the VAR or data on the VAR screens at the time. It's Mickey Mouse stuff now. It really is. But they want it to be Mickey Mouse, so it'll be Mickey Mouse. But it's here to stay.
All right, okay. Right, well, obviously, we've done a VAR. I didn't see that coming when we started the night. Just want your thoughts. We'll get Cairo in. If you're picking the team, you talked about his best team. You should pick your best team and stick with it within reason, apart from injury suspensions, Cairo, yeah? So you're Michael Beale now, and you've got to pick your best team for a European tie coming up on Thursday night. What is it?
Well, the only one that's a certainty for me is Butland. I think you've got to go with the strongest defence, and I wouldn't have Golson in. I'd have a good right winger to Suter, and I'd have Davis. I would definitely have Ridvan in there. I don't know if is Cantwell going to be fit. Don't know. I'd have Lawrence in there, and I would have I'd have Seema in, because Seema seems to be coming on again, but I think they'd be playing him as a two with Dessers up front. Now, who else in between there? I need to have a think about how I'm going to go with that, because I think I don't think I'd say Lammers. I think he's too peppy. We need players to start fizzing the ball about and play. So I'm thinking of football players here to try and get it. And I think, that's why I'd go for Lawrence, because I see he's got that in him. I think Seema's got the speed and the legs to do it. I just hope he doesn't turn out the same as Sakala. So whether Matondo goes on or no, I think is debatable. We need to speed up front, so maybe aye. So that's roughly where I am.
Right, okay, so you're right back.
It's going to be Tav, isn't it?
Right, okay, so you've got four, and then you've got midfield. You mentioned Lawrence. Who are you playing with, Lawrence?
Well, Ridvan's in there, isn't he?
He's left back. Who are you playing with, Lawrence, in midfield?
No, Ridvan, who do you call him?
Raskin,
aye. My memory's gone. Raskin's a must for me in that team. I think that laddie's going to be a fantastic player for us.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs a wee bit of help in the middle of the park.
You're one short in midfield. Who are you going for?
Don't know. I need to think about it. I need to think. You have a choice of 2 or 3 in there. I don't know if I'd have Big John. I don't know if I'd have Jack in there. I need to figure out how I'm going to play there. I don't know who I'd have, to be honest.
So if Cairo can't pick his best team, what chance has Michael Beale got, Albert?
I think, see what Cairo says, who's your next midfielder? I don't know. I think that's what Beale says in there. He's picked his team. I don't know. It's just funny he's come up with an idea, because I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. It's if you're picking a team for that game out performances and who's in form, it's really difficult, mate. It really is. So you've only basically got Butland, Lawrence, and Roof up front, really, and maybe Matondo on for him. The rest of them were all up the air going, you're going to come into for him? You don't know. But I've got a feeling he'll play Dessers on Thursday. That's as far as I'll go. Butland will play, and Dessers will probably play.
Is that the bold statement you're making? Butland will play?
Aye, that's me. That's my banker, mate.
Okay.
Aye, it's putting their heads together, isn't it? No wonder Michael Beale scratching his. One thing that I would agree with the guys in that for last night and yourselves at the weekend is, see with Ridvan being on that left-hand side, it was noticeable that we're no utilising him as much as what Borna was when he was there. So we're kind of lopsided where our attacks is coming from. So I think Borna will come back in to the team, and I think I would go with Cairo. I would have Suter next to Davies, but I think he'll stick with Golson. Tavernier at midfield. I can see Cifuentes coming back into the team. I would have Raskin with Lundstrom, with Lawrence left, and I would go a two up front with Ruth and Sima. That would be my starting lineup.
What are you thinking, David?
I agree with some of that the guys are saying. But the bottom line is we're all armchair managers. It's down to Beale. Beale will pick that team to play Real Betis. He's not picking a team to please us. He's picking a team that's going to play Rain. So he's got to pick the players he thinks can handle that type of football.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's been lacking. You talk about Lammers. Lammers looked great pre-season. He was playing against continental teams, apart from Newcastle. He looked good. He's come into the Scottish football, and where is he? He's nowhere. So this is what he's got to pick the team who will be able to combat Real Betis the way they play. No us.
All right, mate. All right. No. So what you're saying is you don't play your best team, you play horses for courses, David?
Yes.
Okay. Cairo?
No, I stick with the best team. If you've got a team that's playing well, fluent, confident, leader, and they're playing well, surely changing 4 or 5 players every week doesn't augur well going forward.
Yeah, no, but we're not playing well, Cairo. We're not playing well.
Well, I know, but
how can you play your best team?
He's watching them at training. He knows what they're doing, so he should go with his team. He should let his team be picked and stick with that team for a couple of games, and at least get the brunt of his team together, the core of his team there playing, and then you start to make competition for places so that folk are starting to play for the jumper as well as playing for the team. And that's not happening if you're going to be changing 5 and 6 players every week.
Yeah, I know that, but this is not a Scottish team we're playing on Thursday.
I think you're right. I don't think it's a Scottish team we're playing on Thursday, and I think the Scottish teams we could play any team. So your best team should be geared up for Europe, and then after that, the Scottish teams will take care of themselves because you're playing your best team. But you've got to get your best team. You've got to have an idea what your best team is, and then you start slotting individual players in particular games, whether you're playing Real Betis or Valencia, or VM or Kilmarnock or whatever, if that's specific for the games. If you're playing your best team in Europe and they're playing well and you start to get momentum, that should be a doddle for us in the Scottish game, because the teams in the Scottish game aren't as good as the teams in Europe. So you pick your best team, get that going in Europe, establish it in Europe, and Scotland takes care of itself. The thing you do in Scotland is you've got to start mixing up against these teams, start shooting through outside the box and start mixing the game up a wee bit, and nobody's bloody predictable as well and playing the ball out at the back for 25 minutes of the game.
I know what you're saying.
Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. Thanks very much tonight. Last word for your good self, William.
Well, thanks for taking my call. I really enjoyed the show tonight. A lot of good debate, a few laughs. You've got to have a few laughs.
Always.
And, I can't say, I really don't agree. I don't agree. Neil Lennon says it's been a disappointing night. I don't think it's been a disappointing night. I think it's been a pretty good night. Get in there. See, take that lot away to a Scotty referee. They've had it.
Well, AK, the Betamax working. Davey, last word.
Thanks, Ox. Thanks for taking my call and letting us on.
You're on an orange card.
Well. Neighbour, it's a pleasure always talking to you guys, and we always remember we are the people.
Cheers,
good night.
Mate. Cheers, bro. Cairo.
Yep, thanks for having us. Ox, it's been a while for I've been able to express my views, but thanks very much for allowing me the platform today. You do a fantastic job on there, and it's good to come on every now and again and just spread it about a wee bit.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you more often, Cairo. And how's Ruby?
Oh, he's doing well. Kaiser Chiefs sung it marvellous.
Cheers, Cairo.
All the best.
AK.
I enjoyed the show there, Ox. Enjoyed having the guys on. Nice to hear from Cairo again, and Willie and Davey there. Thanks to Albert. And I've got a wee simple solution for our VAR before I go. Put some microphones on them and let's hear them talk to each other. And then they can't get out of what they're saying.
But you got me my 3 orange cards in the other team pick. What do you think?
That's too complicated.
You can't put the microphones, AK. AK, you can't put the microphones. They're talking in Latin.
Yeah.
Get a rosary beads it.
AK.
It was a good night. Like we know with AK, William, Cairo, Darren, and Paul David. Excellent, mate. Enjoyed it. All the best. Onwards and upwards for the Rangers.
Yeah. Listen, thanks to Darren who come on. I don't know what happened with Darren, but he couldn't get back. Thanks to William, the ref. Always good to hear from Willie for coming up. And of course, one of the legends, Paul Davey, and my good mucker Cairo for coming on the show. Albert and AK for doing the show. Fox for doing the technicals. Southside for doing the phones. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Foxy boy.
Oh!